You're listening to Turi Writer's She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marcy Persky. When was the last time you went to a big arena show? Marcy and I are each invited, and it's not exactly the way we remember things. I have to begin with one small piece of advice.
Okay.
Do not inhale oven cleaner.
I don't think I ever had that want.
Yeah, I didn't try to. I was like, the spousal unit, who apparently has lungs of steel, had opened all the windows. It's the annual pre-spring holiday spring cleaning. And so because I have the arm in a cast or splint or whatever this is called, the spousal unit is doing extra work. And I was like something out of a movie. I came downstairs, maybe a cartoon. I came downstairs, and you know the cartoon where the person gets thunked on the head and little birds go around and cheep,
Yeah.
and then you fall over?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what happened. I came downstairs and I said, what smell? I didn't actually fall over, but I had to run outside. So,
I have a self-cleaning oven, so we
Nope.
don't really spray anything into it.
brag away. Brag
Good.
on. I like my 1952
I know,
Wedgwood
yeah, you're,
oven.
You're vintage, and
Yeah.
where we are, it has to be very efficient
Well,
because we have minimal power options. So I doubt that yours works on propane.
no. There's another thing I'm not efficient. Somebody the other day was organizing something and I thought, look at that. Organized. That's what that looks like.
I've been working on that. Actually, I've been throwing away like stuff that's been in this box next to me, papers that are like 15 years old. And I'm like, well, I guess this person's not going to come after me. I throw that out. I can throw that out. And I found, interesting things, blasts from the past that I'd rather not remember.
What did you find?
Oh, just junk. But just the amount of it was astounding. Like we can, whenever these 50-mile-an-hour winds decide to stop, we can throw it in the fire pit and it will make a nice fire starter.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do.
And I want to talk about, you and I both recently, very recently, went to major concerts
That is true.
as plus ones.
Yes.
Because
yes.
you went and saw Bruce in Detroit.
Bruce. Yeah.
And I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers over the weekend at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas.
Every time you mention the Red Hot Chili Peppers, the spousal unit talks about how they used to wear their socks over their junk as
Yes,
concert.
they got arrested in Florida.
Do they still do that?
No, they're all sober and built now. Are you kidding? I mean, they were a very druggy and loose. Now they're all about Frankie's age. They're in their early 50s. They're all like built like brick houses. You can tell they work out and jump around and dance the whole time, which if you did any substance, you wouldn't be able to sustain for 2.5 hours.
That depends on the substance.
Yeah, they used to be drunk and sloppy
Ah,
on stage.
yeah.
Now they're very tight. And it was a sold out. This arena held 71,000 people.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Sold
Yeah, it's
out?
pretty cool.
Sold out?
Yeah. Yep, that's what they said. Okay, we had a really awful adventure just getting from our house to Vegas. It's a 3-hour drive. That's all.
Uh-huh.
And so we got to the other side of Kingman, which is towards the end of Arizona, and we had a flat tire. Luckily, Frankie was with me, so he changed the tire, and we were very lucky that the little tiny spare tire had air in it because it was kind of a no man's land. We get the tire on, we get going, and then we got stuck for an hour between Arizona and Nevada. There's like this no man's land right before the Hoover Dam. And we just sat there and sat there and sat there, and nothing's moving. And then we finally start to move. For some reason, ADOT, which is the Arizona Department of Transportation,
Yes.
decided to put a stoplight on the highway.
What? They did
on
what? They
the
put a
highway.
what on the where?
There is a stoplight on Highway 93 to Las Vegas from Kingman, Arizona, and it held us up for an hour. It was crazy. It was nuts. So we had all these
Yeah,
plans.
hold up a
Which,
second. What's the cross
yeah,
street of the highway in no
there is
man's
no
land?
cross street.
What?
It's just like random. There's no cross
Is this
streets out
somebody's
there.
art project maybe? Like
I
some
thought it was an April Fool's trick,
it could
but
have
it was
been.
April 1st.
Was it put up by maybe some fundamentalist sect that wants you to reconsider your gambling choices?
No, it's a legitimate stoplight in the middle of a highway.
With no cross traffic.
Uh-uh.
Just stop.
Zero. Yeah,
What is
just
their
stop.
reason? Is there any news
I,
coverage about this? I mean, what
I
is
don't, not really. I mean, it's not, no. It's there no, nothing. It's just it's so
is
weird.
it a mistake? Was it like supposed to be somewhere
Well,
else? Like
I don't know. I'm afraid if, I ask questions, they might make me pay money to even cross over it. Like, it's state land trust, and you have to pay us $2,600, and then you own this piece of road, and you can take the light down. I don't know what's going on with
I would
it. Was
this I
bizarre.
would not be able to sleep until I found out why that was there.
I got other more pressing issues,
Oh
but
no.
it was
Government
just
folly
annoying.
is a huge pressing issue.
It was annoying. I mean, we got there just in time to check into our room at a very, very overpriced hotel on the strip, eat a very, very overpriced dinner at said hotel/casino, and then get a cab to get over to the Legion Stadium. And our cabbie, his name was Carlos, and he told us that it was his 62nd birthday and he was retiring at 8:30 sharp. He said he had one more hour and he was retiring. He owns houses in Nevada and Costa Rica, and he's grabbing his wife and they're moving to Costa Rica for retirement years.
Wow.
So that was kind of a cool thing.
That is a cool thing. It's kind of nice to know that driving a cab, you can buy a house in, well, I guess this was a while ago that he bought a house in Las Vegas because now,
But anyway,
yes.
we went to this concert and we're both plus ones.
Oh, plus
This was
ones.
Frankie's bucket list concert. Like, he wanted to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers before he died. And I was thinking about what were my bucket list concerts.
Huh.
And the two I came up with are the Foo Fighters. I haven't seen them. And Bruno Mars. I love Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars. I would not have
Yep.
in a million years, I wouldn't have guessed Bruno Mars for you.
Bruno Mars and the Hooligans. What are your bucket list concerts?
I'm the opposite of you. In general, it is my desire to stay far, far away from big concerts. And my bucket list in most cases would have been to go to my grave without having to sit through another arena show ever for anyone.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I had a good time. The only part
I
is,
didn't say didn't have a good time. I had a great time, but
yeah,
I loved going, and my friend was kind to take me. But would I do it again? Here's what's changed. Okay, we saw
Yeah.
Bruce. At, I have trouble saying this with a straight face. Little Caesars Arena.
yeah, I know. I
Well,
know.
because it was the Big Caesar who built the original arenas, and I'm like, if
Yeah.
the Big Caesar could see what happened to his namesake, with all with his empire from what is now, I believe, Scotland all the way to the Middle East, if he could see that there's
Same.
some guy in a cartoon flipping a pizza calling himself a Little Caesar.
We were in Allegiant Stadium, and so all I could think about is the one time I had to fly that airline.
Oh,
How not splendorific it was, but the stadium is beautiful.
I don't know why I thought that Allegiant was like an insurance company or something. Anyway,
It's one of those little airlines
So-
that makes you pay for everything.
yes. Yes. So we what I remember about big stadium shows, and I did see Bruce decades ago at the Rosemont Horizon, which I hear has had some upgrades since then. But mostly what I remember about going to see somebody before I worked for radio stations and we had boxes where things were a little more civilized. Although
Right.
there's a guy still working in radio who was coked out of his mind and tried to throw me out of my own radio station's box one time. This is our
Nice.
box. What are you doing here? This is our box. I'm like, dude, your box is too over. See all your high DJs? That's where you're supposed to be. Anyway, I think that was a Hall & Oates concert. Anyhow, what I remember about stadiums as a concert goer before I had a job that required me or enabled me, depending on the act, to attend, was that they smelled like pee. And other people
What?
burned you with whatever they were smoking. Those were two things, that you would come away with some kind of burn on some part of your body or clothing, and they smelled like pee. They didn't have enough bathrooms, and people drank beer, and they just whizzed all over the place. And it was
Oh,
just,
geez, I've been to hundreds of concerts in my life and never has one smelled like pee. Sorry.
just telling you.
You just have a very delicate
Nose?
sense of.
They smelled like pee. But let me tell you that this new
Yes.
arena in Detroit was very spiffy. And what's more, they have all the little concessions. You don't have to line up, and then somebody gets to the front of the counter and they're having the munchies and they're like, oh, did I want a hot dog? Or did I want the nachos? Because each place has its own. Like if you line up for nachos, it's a nacho stand. You have made up your mind you want the nachos. And they do it like that with drinks. Imagine having a separate bar for every drink a person would be able to buy. On the one hand, it's weird as all get out, and because there's no point in saying, "Can you make a?" because you lined up for a Patron tequila, whatever, and if you don't want that, you're in the wrong line. But on the other hand, you don't say you'd like in anything. You're on the line, and that's what you're going to get. And the
I
condiments.
drink Raiders water.
Well, I don't know what Raiders water is, but it sounds like another reason for a place
Well,
to
the
sound like
Raiders-
pee is
what-
what it
the-
sounds like.
The former Oakland Raiders, who I'm sure that your spousal unit is familiar with.
The Traders
now
water.
play
Yes.
in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Yes. And we were in their stadium, therefore all the water bottles are
We're
called Raiders
branded.
water.
I see. How much does a
Yes.
bottle of Traders
brought
water
one home.
cost? $4? 5?
I don't know. Frankie bought it.
Aw. So, yeah, that was a weird thing, the way the concessions are now. And the only place that had a long line, because you don't have to stand behind the person, is like, I'd like extra mustard and 1 onion ring on it. And
Our worst line was getting out of there.
oh, no, we didn't have a problem. And the only line was for the merch. So,
This was so bizarre so we took a cab. He dropped us off a block from the stadium and said, this is where you catch cab when it's over. So we got to the cab stand and we were like the 4th couple in line. We stood there for over an hour. No cabs showed up.
Really?
After this huge concert.
whoa.
It was really weird.
Maybe somebody put a traffic light in front of the cab stand.
Yeah, that could be it. They were all stuck on the
They're all
highway.
stuck, trying to get to the cab stand. Assuming you've come this far because you enjoy the podcast, may we recommend my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air. It's available at your neighborhood bookstore or on Amazon. And if you're feeling especially generous, please leave the podcast a good review. Thanks.